Hi everyone and welcome to this Life Room Staying Well, Staying Home video, and in this video we're going to be looking at combating our low mood during isolation. I'm Mark and I'm one of the recovery learning facilitators at the Life Rooms.
And I'm Ben, also a learning facilitator at the Life Rooms.
So as I said, we're going to be talking about how lockdown and being isolated can make us feel down, but there's ways to turn being at home to our advantage. But what I'd also like to get over to people is that to remember it's normal to feel low at the moment. We're in uncertain times, and during uncertain times it's important that we don't give ourselves a hard time for feeling low. But we're hopefully going to come up with a few tips that are going to help boost your mood during this uncertainty. You might have seen in some of our other videos, we've spoke a lot about routine and structure and how that is important, and also looking at our self-care. These are all really important for our mood. But some of the things that we can look at include
physical well-being, so looking after our physical health. There's many ways we can do that, isn't there? Not least exercise. And Trish, one of our other facilitators, has produced several videos much like this, where she kind of takes you through some basic exercises that you can actually do in your own living room, so please look out for those. There's also food as well, of course. You probably can notice that I'm one of those that reaches for the comfort foods in times like these, when you might be feeling low, might be feeling anxious, but actually that's not sustainable, is it? And we want to be maybe introducing some healthier options as well. Anthony, one of the other facilitators, has produced a couple of videos where he takes you through some cooking some healthy recipes as well.
Yeah, and I think you're so right what you're saying actually, Ben. I know from my own personal experience, when I'm not looking after my fitness, when I'm not looking after my diet, my mental health suffers. I feel a lot worse, my mood's a lot lower, my sleep pattern's messed up. So I think it's really important that we try our best to look after our diet and physical health during this period. I think another important thing is talking to others and staying connected. Now, this is important for our mental health at all times, but even more so when we're in isolation. It might be that you can't talk to people in person, but we're really lucky now in this modern day with our technology. So you can phone people, you can use FaceTime, you can Skype others. I just think it's really important that we do stay connected with others. Phone people, ask them how they are, get asked how you are. Really important.
It is really important. It might be actually that some of you don't have someone to call, don't have anyone to connect to. So we have Pathways advisors that can provide some emotional support that you can call while we're closed as well in this kind of lockdown situation. So if you call 0151 478 6556, please do call them if you're feeling low, if you're feeling anxious, if you need some emotional support. We've also got the Samaritans, which I couldn't recommend highly enough, particularly if you're feeling very, very down. And there's the Hub of Hope.
Yeah, the Hub of Hope, it's an app that you can get on the phone, and they can signpost you to other services when you're in need and when you're going through trouble, really. And they're run by an organisation called Chasing the Stigma, and they've actually launched a 24-hour phone line today, so check them out online as well also. I think it's really important that we keep ourselves entertained during this period. And again, I know in the other videos they would have spoke about ways to entertain ourselves, reading a book, playing games. I think watching TV is really important. Again, we're lucky with the technology we've got. We can get films and music streamed to us relatively easy. So I think it's really important that we watch the right things. For me, it's important personally that I carry on watching comedy. Comedy is a big outlet for me. I think it's really important that we get them chuckle muscles going. Yeah, we are going through a serious time, but we can still watch things that are going to lighten our mood. So I think getting them chuckle muscles going is really important.
Definitely being creative in general, and there's lots of ways that we can be creative. Even if you're one of these people that doesn't think you're creative, there's always a creative outlet, to express how you're feeling, isn't there? And so if you ever fancied, writing a poem or a song, they say everybody's got a book in them. Just get your pen out and just see what happens. There's other ways that you can be creative too. If you're like me, you might have a guitar locked away in the loft or buried under a load of rubble somewhere. get that out, and there's some YouTube tutorials that you can look at and, take you through some basic playing. There's other ways you can be creative too, isn't there?
Funny you say that actually, Ben, because a few years ago I had a relationship breakdown and I thought, I'm going to buy a ukulele. So I went out and bought this ukulele. I thought, I'm going to learn to play this ukulele. I've got more time on my hands. Got it, couldn't tune it in, and it's been in my loft for 10 years, 12 years maybe. So in the next few weeks could be something that I do, get out my ukulele and start trying to learn to play it. Be a bit like George Formby. It's turned out nice again, mother!
There's other ways you can be creative. Writing, as I say, painting, drawing, even adult colouring in books. They really helped me out when I was going through a tough time, actually in hospital, just as a distraction, if nothing else. Even cooking a meal that you've never cooked before. There's lots of ways to be creative.
And this idea of trying something new, even if we're stuck at home, something new can keep us stimulated. You mentioned loads of things about watching documentaries, watching TED Talks, that type of thing. I seen someone who I'm friends with on social media, she's actually signed up to learn sign language. So I think that's really good, something that you mightn't have the time to do normally, but you go out your way and do something new. So something new is really important. One thing that I want to start doing over the next couple of weeks, and something that I've been doing over the last few days, is I've been watching the news loads. And watching the news too much, all that does is it raises me anxiety. I start panicking over what's going to happen, so I'm going to start avoiding the news. It's important to keep up to date with what's going on, but not watching it constantly, because watching it constantly, it can have an effect on our mood. So just be conscious of that, try to get a bit of balance with finding out what's going on and not sort of over bombarding yourself with negativity. Something that I like to do personally is inject a little bit of silliness into our life. And this isn't me downplaying the seriousness of what's happening, but I just think it's really important that we still have those giggles, that we still have that little bit of silliness, that we play silly games, that we make silly songs up, that we wear our silly glasses sometimes. I just think it's important that we keep up that little bit of silliness, and although it is a serious situation, try not to take it too serious. Let's have that little bit of fun and that little bit of silliness.
Definitely. I think though, on the other hand, it is understandable and quite actually expected to feel, low, to feel anxious in a time like this. So if you are, don't be too hard on yourself, don't beat yourself up. I think most of us are probably feeling, the effects of this isolation. But actually, Mark, why don't you take us through what we've been talking about?
Yeah, just a little recap, just to go through everything that we've spoke about so far, and this is all about us staying well and staying at home. So, as discussed in our other videos, your routine, your structure, your self-care, it's really important for you. Physical health and diet, ensuring that you're keeping up on that, staying connected with others, being entertained, so choosing your entertainment, using uplifting stuff, being creative, you spoke about, trying something new, avoiding the news all the time, so don't be just constantly watching the news. Have a little bit of silliness in your life, and as Ben just said then, don't give yourself a hard time. It's okay to have worries, so don't start giving yourself that hard time over it. Ben also mentioned our Pathway service. As he said, it's a signposting service, and we can also offer you some emotional support. It'll be running between the hours of 10 and 4 o'clock. You can phone 0151 478 6556, and you can also check out our website www.liferooms.org. I've always wanted to be a TV presenter. I feel like Eamon Holmes doing this.
Like this morning?
It is, yeah. So that was just a little bit of advice to offer you. We want you to stay well, and we want you to stay at home. So it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from him.
Goodbye.